Traders brace for an intense trading day as the stock market teeters on the verge of a breakdown. In today's cover story, female business owners make a play for more government contracts, plus smart ways to pass down your wealth. And in Traders Unplugged, is this market a temporary setback or the new normal? First Business starts now.
You're watching First Business. Financial news, analysis, and today's investment ideas.
Good morning. I'm Angela Miles. It's Friday, August the 8th. In today's First Look, a rough day ahead. Stocks, bonds, and commodities are all reacting to escalating tensions in Iraq and Ukraine. Yesterday, the Dow dropped 75 points. The Nasdaq lost 20. With the S&P 500, traders are anxious about whether the index will hold above 1,900. Gold gained $5, and even oil has reversed course and has started to rally. Treasury prices are surging as yields hit the lowest level in more than a year. Investors are dropping junk bonds. A record $7.1 billion was pulled from junk bond funds during the past week, according to Barron's. And Lululemon rallies as the CEO sells a 50% stake in that yoga clothes company to private equity firm Advent International. The stock made close to a $3 stretch after the close last night. Trader Ben Lichtenstein of TradersAudio.com joins us now. Ben, I am hearing this is a tough market for traders. Why is it so challenging?
Well, for one, it's been a difficult market because we're not used to seeing sell-side activity. So a lot of traders have become fairly comfortable and profitable buying dips, if you will. But recently, with the sell-side activity and the strength and the follow-through that we've been seeing, it's really kind of changed. A lot of traders are liking the movement that we're seeing, the wide range type trade. But again, it's required them to sort of shift this whole mindset and actually start to participate on the sell side.
What's your game plan for this Friday trade?
I think that there's a lot of energy in this market right now at these levels. I think that a correction has been inevitable and long awaited, long anticipated. And, you know, the real question right now comes into how much follow through we're actually going to see. But the big level right now in the S&Ps is that 1900 to 1905 level. Anything back up above 1925, though, is a big sign of strength in this market right now.
Ben, I have to ask you one last question. There's this crazy call about Germany's DAX that it could maybe see a big rally. What do you think about that call?
Very possible. I mean, we've seen the DAX under pressure here for the last week solid. I can't think of one up day in the last 5 to 10 days that they've had big time under pressure. Some of them been triple digits, but going out double digits has not been uncommon for the DAX. We keep a close eye on that. It's a great market indicator, if you will, for momentum and for continuation and confirmation, if you will, of the pattern that we're seeing here.
Ben, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Violent winds were expected to put a damper on business in Hawaii. Bernie Rayno, senior meteorologist at AccuWeather, joins us now. Good morning, Bernie. What's it looking like now?
Well, unfortunately, very stormy. Isel continues to move to the west-northwest. Strongest impacts from that storm is going to be the flooding rain and strong wind gusts across the big island of Hawaii. But basically from Maui all the way toward the big island, that's where we're going to see strong wind gusts between 50 and 70 miles per hour, flooding rain. There could be some power outages. Now, once we get to Oahu up toward Kauai, we'll still have wind gusts 35 to 45 miles per hour and still the threat for flooding rain. And all of the islands, especially on the northern side, will have some rough surf.
Bernie, thank you so much for that update.
My pleasure.
Chuck Coppola joins me now. Good morning, Chuck.
Angie, U.S. farmers say Russian consumers have the most to lose from a recent import ban. Russian officials said this week that they will ban Western agricultural imports for 1 year. It's in response to sanctions from the U.S. and Europe over the conflict in Ukraine. Now, yesterday, the American Farm Bureau Federation president said Russian consumers will pay more for their food now as well as in the long run. On the trading floor, wheat prices are falling. Both Russia and Ukraine are major exporters of wheat. However, high global inventory is easing supply fears. Wheat futures fell 1% yesterday.
Trading a Malaysia Airlines shares could suddenly stop today. Reuters is reporting the airline plans to suspend trading in Malaysia as part of a larger plan to go private. Last month, one of its jets was shot down over Ukraine by Russian separatists. In March, a flight disappeared under mysterious circumstances over the Indian Ocean.
Goldman Sachs is being questioned over its dark pool trading platforms. According to an SEC filing, regulators added Goldman and Morgan Stanley to its probe into unregulated securities trading platforms, also known as dark pools. Goldman Sachs was fined in July over pricing rule violations within its dark pool system, Sigma X.
Shareholders want a cut of a multi-million-dollar settlement. Blackstone Group, KKR, and TPG have agreed to pay $325 million to settle a lawsuit alleging shareholders were shortchanged in a number of leveraged buyout deals. They claim that private equity firms got together and agreed to suppress takeover bids. The firms denied the accusations. The settlement offer still needs a judge's approval.
Two companies are debuting stock today, including Green Bank Corp. The Texas bank holding is expected to price between $15 to $17 per share. It'll trade under symbol GNBC. Also, Independence Contract Drilling could price around $14 to $16. The Houston-based oil drilling company will trade under ICD. And Chinese gaming company iDreamSky debuted with a 6% rally.
Market Basket is laying off hundreds of workers as it deals with empty shelves and few customers. Employees have been protesting for weeks now over the firing of the chain's CEO, and it's having a dramatic effect on business. Part-time positions at 4 stores will be cut next week, with possibly more to follow. The company says it would welcome back all associates as business picks up. A Boston Globe report says supermarket chain Hannaford Brothers is bidding for the company.
In today's cover story, a little more than 4% of all government contracts are assigned to women-owned businesses. That's not good enough, according to Women Impacting Public Policy, a group representing 500,000 business owners who are women, the Small Business Administration, and American Express Open, the small business arm of the financial services company. Nearly a quarter of all government contracts go to small businesses, but less than 5% go to small businesses owned by women.
That's about $10 billion that was left on the table that we didn't access.
With that in mind, the Small Business Administration, American Express Open, and a group called Women Impacting Public Policy brought 200 women who own their own businesses face to face with representatives from 19 government agencies.
Masonry restoration is very big for us. We have a lot of old buildings that have to be repaired constantly, and that is huge for our industry. Window installers.
But it's not an easy time to seek government work. Midterm elections are coming up, and Congress has been cutting spending, narrowly approving a bill for highway and bridge repair before the August recess, the kind of work that goes to private sector bidding.
And it was agonizing because I serve on the Committee on Ways and Means, and we were very much engaged in that activity.
So how's a small business owner, who's a woman, supposed to convince a federal agency? Some say promote value.
Strategic planning is all about how do you leverage your resources, right? Your human and otherwise, and focus your resources. I mean, quite frankly, the federal government needs to hire somebody like me to help them get back on track.
One recent break for small business owners, the Small Business Administration says it will revise credit evaluations to rely less on personal credit scores and more on how borrowers' businesses are doing.
It helps them facilitate some of the underwriting to make it easier, but also will hopefully open it up to more borrowers and make them more creditworthy in the eyes of our lenders.
The effort to encourage qualified women-owned businesses to seek government work began last year, and since then has brought more than 1,200 business owners to these sorts of events.
Costco is going through a summer bummer. The wholesale retailer fell short of sales expectations in July for the first time in 5 months. Overall retail sales in July rose 4.5% from the same time last year. Victoria's Secret owner L Brands had a nice surprise by surpassing estimates. Its sales jumped 6%. Gap also topped predictions as its Banana Republic and Old Navy brands showed off solid numbers.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are still on the profit track. Fannie Mae posted a profit of $3.7 billion in the second quarter. Fannie will also make a payment of that same amount to the Treasury next month. Freddie Mac posted a $1.4 billion profit and will pay $1.9 billion. An improved housing market has allowed the agencies to pay back in full bailouts that followed the 2008 crash.
In earnings news that came in last night, Solar City's losses more than doubled in the second quarter. Still, shares rose more than $2 as a solar panel company says it expects a bump up in business with the 30% federal tax credit set to expire in 2016. Solar City is sticking by its guidance for this year and next year. Lionsgate reported a 21% drop in revenue. Analysts view the film studio as a potential takeover target. NVIDIA turned in a strong 33% profit gain. The chipmaker stock ran up 4% after the bell. And Zynga continues to trade under $3, falling 7% on a revenue miss, although the social media company does say it has deals with the NFL and Tiger Woods.
The new generation of the Chevy Volt is on its way to the market. GM will release its new Volt this winter in hopes of boosting sales of the plug-in model. Well, sales have taken a slight dip lately. The Volt is still outselling Tesla's Model S.
Demand is down for magazines sold on newsstands. According to the Alliance for Audited Media, single sales of magazines dropped 12% in the first half of the year compared to a year ago. Paid subscriptions dropped 1.8%, while digital editions expanded by about 1 million.
Barnes & Noble is starting its next chapter using a same-day delivery service via Google Shopping Express. The service competes against Amazon, which is also shifting more of its business to same-day deliveries. Barnes & Noble will begin with Manhattan, as well as sections of Los Angeles and San Francisco. BKS shares closed higher at $21.75 Thursday.
Checking the economic calendar for today, coming up, productivity numbers for the second quarter. That's a preliminary, and unit labor costs along with wholesale inventories. On the earnings calendar, watch for Sotheby's. Still to come, as the stock market loses steam, how one trader is making adjustments. Plus, fact or fiction. The guys debate whether we are still in a recession in Traders Unplugged. And after the break, family ties, tips on passing down your wealth to the next generation.
Young Americans with shaky credit may have a better crack at going to college. The Department of Education is proposing new rules that would ease restrictions on students who have poor credit scores. Students who have bad debt are now automatically denied government student loans. The new rules could take effect by fall of 2015.
Trust funds sound like something only the wealthy need to worry about, but financial planner Ed Jurtson of Mac Investment Securities joins us by Skype this morning to explain why more people need to consider setting up a trust. Good morning, Ed.
Morning, Angie.
So who exactly needs to set up a trust? Should it be somebody making $50,000 or $50 million?
For every estate plan, the foundation of every financial plan should be some sort of an estate planning document. In a trust fund, while not appropriate for everyone, is something to really consider if you're looking at passing assets to your heirs in an efficient and private manner.
But why?
One of the things that a trust fund allows you to do is control from the grave. And what I mean by that is you can control assets and how they're distributed to your spouse and how they're distributed to your kids, even after you've passed away. The privacy part is most important. So, for instance, you can see James Gandolfini's will online of who he gave to his assistant, who he gave to his nieces, and things like that, and how much. Not a lot of people would really want that information to be public, where a trust is more of a private document.
Right, and there's that sad story of Philip Seymour Hoffman reportedly told his attorneys he didn't want his children to become trust fund babies, and now they're going to have to fight in court to get some of his $35 million estate trust fund. Some people say that attorneys for these trust funds are really expensive. Is there an inexpensive way to do this?
There's a lot of different ways to do that. What I would recommend first is making sure that the attorney that you go to is somebody who specializes in estate planning. That's the first and foremost part of it. There's a lot of different trusts that are out there, and price points will vary depending on what city you're in and the specialty and where you go in terms of the law firm.
What about just setting up a will?
Well, everyone should have a will, in my humble opinion. That is the absolute foundation for any financial plan. You need something just in case you weren't prepared to die, if you would. I mean, again, look at the cases of Philip Seymour Hoffman. You need something to direct where your assets go when you don't have and you're not around to direct them.
Thank you for all that information, Ed.
Thanks, Angie. Have a great day.
Coming up, a rude awakening is happening for traders. Find out more in Chart Talk. Plus, the guys reveal their drink stock of choice in Traders Unplugged. That's after the break. Business is ready to go rogue with traders Alan Nuckman and Scott Shellady here for Traders Unplugged. Topic number one, guys, trend holiday. Is this an August vacation from the rally or a trend turn?
Well, first of all, there's no such thing as vacations anymore. They're all, I'm not going to use a phrase from someone else, but it's called working vacation. iPads, laptops, phones, you can trade anywhere, anytime. Opportunity is always there. I think it's just a pullback. We're not seeing new highs in the VIX, even though the market's making new lows. So that is a positive sign. We're very close to the top, only a couple percent, and it was only a couple weeks ago.
Well, the Dow's gone negative for the year, and I think ultimately...
The Dow? Go ahead.
Well, I guess we don't talk about the Dow anymore. The S&P's up about 3% for the year. I think ultimately a vacation from the rally is probably the wrong word. Maybe vacation from insanity is probably a better word. Alan's going to argue the fact that the economy must be doing well because the stock market's high. We'll listen to that argument later.
The stock market are two different things. Why is there vacation shaming? That's what I want to know. Why do people get shamed for vacations?
Topic number two, recession reality. Half of the population thinks we are in a recession. Does that hold the market back?
All you, sir.
Well,
Facts.
In La La Land,
Facts.
where I'm thinking you're from, you're going to tell me that there's no recession. And recession, technically speaking, is two consecutive contractual
That's
quarters.
how you define a recession.
Right,
yeah.
but I'm going to say right now that since 2009, nothing has changed for the average American significantly.
Wages have not gone up. Everything else has changed, but wages have not gone up.
What do you mean? What's everything else has changed?
Everything else has
but
changed.
The house price went up by $1.
Housing's come back.
No, it hasn't come back. Look where housing started.
They're not good jobs. Okay, but the point is...
They're not good jobs. Housing hasn't come back. What are you looking at?
You don't think housing prices have come back off those lows?
If you're looking from the highs, we went down 90% and we bounced 10. Big deal.
Next topic is number three, beer buy. What stock is the best buy? Is it Molson Coors, TAP, or Constellation Brands, STZ?
All right, you're the expert, but I'm going to tell you I like lager. So I'm going after Constellation Brands. I'm looking for about a 25% move from here to the upside. I think it has a lot of potential. There's huge margins in beer, and grain prices are low, your business, so that helps out the equation as well.
I'm absolutely shocked. I expected to hear a long diatribe on the great things about Zima and Chardonnay from Alan. Zima and Chardonnay would be the stocks that he'd be choosing, and I'm shocked that he's been serenading as a person.
Which beer do you buy?
I'm going to go with TAP. I think I'll put a stop in around 66, 65 to the downside. It's had a nice little bump up as of late, but it still looks dangerous. But between the two, I'd be long now.
Imagine beer consumption is up. People are feeling better. The beer indicator is the winner.
For your bonus round question today, analysts are out with price targets on Tesla. Which one is closest to an actual price target? Is it $100, $200, or $300?
$200. They just want an answer.
Are you going with $300, Alan?
I am going with $300.
It's like, just because he talks fast makes him feel like he's smarter.
Well, he is in this instance because the answer is $300. Good to have you on this show. First Business continues right after this.
Chardonnay. Zima and Chardonnay is what you want.
Champipple.
President of KeenOnTheMarket.com joins us now. Happy Friday to you. And how is the Friday trade likely to shape up today, Andrew?
I've actually been scared for the first time in a while. We breached 1,900 in the S&P 500 futures. We did bounce back from there, but it doesn't seem like any time we get a bid in the stock market, we get sold. Every single time we rally, the market gets sold. It's a very, very fearful right now. I've been cutting back on my long positions. I've still been net long. I've been net long for the last 2 years. We are down about 4% from the highs, so not in correction mode just yet, but just getting a little nervous.
You're getting nervous, and what is the volatility index telling you?
Yeah, the volatility index is spiking up. Option Hacker has started producing bearish signals for the first time in a while. So option order flow, we've seen a lot of puts being bought over the course of the last couple of days. We saw puts in MAR. We saw puts being bought, of course, in a lot of names where a lot of call activity was the past trend. Now we're seeing a lot of bearish activity.
What about Facebook? That is a stock that actually has held up quite well this week.
Well, yeah, it performed very well in earnings. As we continue to say, Facebook is doing everything that Twitter can't do, which is monetizing mobile. The stock spiked up really high, started making lower lows, lower highs. I still like Facebook in the long term. I think it gets to 100 by the end of next year. I don't have a position on right now, but if the market sells off, Facebook's going to sell off just right with it.
Thank you, Andrew. Have a good trading day.
Thank you, Angie.
That wraps up our week. Coming up Monday, how ballparks plan to score big money with social media. From all of us at First Business, have a fantastic Friday.